Hi boys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Now, if you are an agency owner or online coach, which you probably are if you're watching this channel and watching this video, I guarantee that this video will change the entirety of your business and entirety of your acquisition structure, right? Because I'm going to be going over how my client spent $150 in ad spend to cash collect $12,000. Now, yes, you have heard me correctly, and all the evidence and proof is here. Ever spend $150 and cash collect $12,000 for his brand new online business. Now, if you were to do the ROAS on that, it's absolutely crazy. Okay. And I know a lot of you will watch this channel, watch me for the value that I provide. And yeah, I do that in entirety, and I'm going to do that in this video. But if you are on my Instagram and you've seen, you can go add me over there, lukejackson.mx. The client results I've been able to get is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely immense, right? And in this video, I kind of want to break down how we're able to do this. So you can, one, just take it for your own business and kind of implement the same system, kind of copy and paste it, or just implement it into your client's business, right? So you can start getting fantastic results on the service delivery, on the back-end deliverables for your actual clients. And I think this was just such a cool result because the 4-step pillars that we implemented into his business can be implemented into any company, right? It can be implemented into any business and be able to, ad spend $150 and cash collect 12K. So as you can see here, his ticket price was very, very high ticket at 6K USD. Ad spend $150, 4 book calls, 3 showed up calls, and then 2 actual closed calls, which are obviously the 2 clients. As you can see here, bit of proof, our client signing a 5K deal for one-on-one coaching, which is 5K in British pounds, so it's around 6K USD. And then over here, been able to say closed 2 clients at 5K in the first month, and now he's scaling up his sales team, which is super cool. Helping him, dial in with closers and all that type of stuff, and been able to go from $0 to $12,000 in his first 30 days working with us. So, what were the 4 pillars that we implemented into our client's business that allowed him to go ahead and do this, right? Which is super cool result, right? Well, the first thing was obviously offer positioning, leverage, acquisition channel, and sales process, right? So those are the 4 principles that we're going to go through in this video that are going to create the system and the kind of the framework that we implement into our business, into our client's business to achieve this result. So with offer positioning, right? The first thing we must do is find a high ticket solution. Now, the reason why my client was able to close $12,000 out of 2 clients is because he simply has a high ticket solution. Being able to charge $6,000 USD is a very, very hard thing to do. You have to have incredible mechanisms. You have to have an incredible service delivery process, and you have to have ridiculous leverage to be able to go and charge this and close very, very effectively, right? And the only way you're going to do this is by having 3 micro variables that are going to allow you to have a high ticket solution, as I would call it, right? So one is obviously social proof, right? People need to know that you're competent at what you do. When you are trying to make money in general, it's only going to come from other human beings, right? Only other people with human beings are going to give you money. You're not going to generate money out the sky, right? So to convince people to give you a ton of money, you have to solve a genuine, hard, difficult, painful problem. Now, in the market right now, I'm seeing this be something that people are ignoring. And the reason why people are ignoring this is because they don't like solving hard problems. Well, because it's hard, right? But the harder problems you solve, the more money you're going to get paid. So we had to build an offer which solved a high problem for people, right? And the only way you're going to sell this effectively is by 1, having social proof, 2, having authority, which is kind of different things. Now, social proof is mainly just for like what you do for other people. So the results that you've been able to get for other people, client results, student results, whatever it is. And then your authority is just like what you've done, right? They go pretty hand in hand, but that's how I like to see it. And then number 3 is content assets. Now, we are in the era of 2024 now, where it's going to become a very, very difficult for you to scale if you don't have content assets. If nobody knows who you are, if you don't have a face to the brand, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to make any kind of money because people want leverage experiences. And you're seeing in the market right now, people more invest into who the person is and the face of the brand over what mechanisms do you have in your offer, because mechanisms in an offer can be copied. They can be commoditized. The way that you market can be commoditized. Your landing page can be commoditized. Anybody can go to the biggest dog in the industry's landing page and simply copy the same thing, but they can't be the top dog in the industry, right? Second thing we had to do was dial in his messaging, right? And the kind of messaging kind of model that we brought to his market approach was simply, I scaled my company from 0 to 33 million in sales and sold that to a Gymshark director. Other gurus have never sold a clothing brand. Now, what does this do? Well, the messaging not only expresses authority, it not only expresses social proof, but it also kind of puts my client in a leveraged position above all of his competitors. Now, because it's all about prospect perception, so you really need to keep that in mind. If every single prospect in the market perceives my client as more leveraged than the rest of his competitors, then they're never going to go to their competitors, right? So two things we've done in the messaging and two things we've kept in mind is, okay, one, how can we show social proof? How can we show authority? Because that's really, really huge. People are going to believe in it and people are going to sign, especially if it's high ticket like 6K. And then also just how can we, leverage above our competitors, and that's really, really important as well, right? So marketing was led on immense social proof, and for some of you this will be what you lean on, for some of you it'll be your guarantee, but you really, really need to find out what you lean on. Like, what is your marketing angle, right? What do you lean on heavily? And that's going to be really, really important. Free is obviously the offer, so the offer variables within the offer. So like I said, a high ROI solution, the messaging dialed in, a leverage solution over competitors. So how can you actually make your solution better than your competitors? If your solution is perceived worse than your competitors, or doesn't give as much as the ROI, or doesn't give as much value, then they're always going to go to your competition, right? And then immense social proof, like we said as well, right? So with the offer variables, we just value stacked the offer. And I think that's really, really important for many people coming into the agency game in general. It's just understanding how to value stack your offer at the beginning, because we're coming into an era where if you are just selling one piece of the pie, if you're just solving one problem in particular, then people aren't going to pay you month after month after month after month. Now, a lot of people want the 2K a month payment month after month after month, but they don't analyze that is 24 grand per year. Now, if you are being completely honest and introspective with yourself, is your company and the deliverable processes of your business worth $24,000 every single year? Okay. And now, if the answer is no, then who the hell's going to pay you for that? Guys, seriously, right? You need to have skill, right? This entrepreneurship game in general is about giving value. Now, I know that's such an oversaturated term. Everyone says value and everybody throws it around. But generally, if you don't have skill, if you don't actually have a talent, and you can implement that into another business, you're not going to be able to make money. Straight up, right? Being completely authentic. So, step-by-step solution, one-on-one mentorship, assets and an infrastructure, right? So many businesses can be scaled, through coaching, through programs, all that type of stuff, but also just giving the assets and giving the infrastructure that makes your student or clients' lives easier, right? Whether this is softwares, whether this is tracking sheets. So we made sure for our clients to add more than just the generic one-on-one mentorship, right? Why? Because if we go back to here, it leverages you ahead of your competition. Right. So not only by having the one-on-one mentorship in his offer, we added, okay, how can you give assets? How can you give infrastructures when it comes to softwares, tracking sheets, pre-built templates, all this stuff, right? Value stacking. Okay. And also connections. And now, when you start getting to a high level within your business in general, you start realizing that connections are really the catalyst for opening up your entire business and opportunities. So we made sure to add in for our client's offer the opportunity for his students to get a ton of connections, right? So leverage above compares by simply having a better solution. Very, very simple process. Now, when it comes to leverage, if people are going to buy into your solution, you need high leverage. You need high leverage to sell this solution, right? So the first step that we take for any of our clients when they come on board with us is something I like to call the leverage assessment graph. Now, if you don't want to pay thousands of dollars to come on to my service, then you could just take this graph, plug and play, right? But essentially, the graph is built up between leverage variables that build up where you currently are. Now, this is so important because, and I realized the importance of this when I was recently on a webinar with Nick Law, who a lot of you guys might know. And somebody asked me the question like, hey, Luke, how are you signing clients? Like, hey, Luke, what is your outreach script? What is your outreach method? And I looked at that person and everybody in the crowd in the webinar was really, really anticipating the answer because they thought it was going to be the secret because they've seen my success. And they're like, okay, well, if I do the same thing as him, then I'm going to get the same success. But the difference is, and the reason why this isn't actually a great question is because I'm leveraging at this leverage point and he's leveraging at this leverage point. Well, what does this mean? Well, this means that I've got more authority. It means that I've got more social proof. It means that I've got more of an inbound audience to go from. Therefore, I get different type of success leveraging different mechanisms, right? I can operate different based on where I'm at. As a beginner, when I was a complete beginner trying to scale a content agency, myself and my business partner, Harvey Warner, who you might follow, was sending TikTok looms, right? Cold TikTok looms, Facebook outreach, Instagram outreach. We were doing everything. Why? Because we were under that current point of leverage, right? So that's how we attack the market. So as you can see, leverage variables here. So you've got social proof, content assets, testimonials, offer pricing, and then no answer. So for example, our client here, is, as we can see, yellow, he had content assets. So he had a decent Instagram page. You can see here, green, he had social proof. So obviously he had sold his company from 0 to 33 million in sales, which by the way, is the type of clients you want to be attracting, high quality clients. And then here, he didn't have an offer, right? And he didn't have any testimonials. Now, the difference between testimonials and social proof, like I said, testimonials, have you got results for this particular offer? Well, he couldn't have any testimonials for his offer because he didn't have an offer, right? So based off of this current leverage, our next steps were to, build a high ticket offer. Right, the next step weren't to run ads, right? Like a lot of people don't have any client results, they don't have any leverage, and just because they've seen a ton of gurus say, "Hey, run some Instagram ads," say, "Hey, are you stuck between X and X, and let's help you scale," that's going to work for you, right? Well, it might work, but at the end of the day, you need to operate under the current leverage you're at. Maybe cold outbound would be the better thing for you than running a ton of ads and wasting your money right now, because you have no incentive points for people to come onto your profile, follow you, and get nurtured, and then sign up with you, right? Which I know a lot of you are being sold on right now. It for sure can work, and this is what we dialed in ads for this client, but because he was ready for that, right? He had a social proof, he had authority. So it's just come to this as, like I said, of authority, social proof, content assets, results, audience, and then the way you position that leverage, right? And it comes back to the business rule and business lesson of you could have the best product in the world, you could have the best solution in the world, but if no one knows about your solution, then who's seeing it? Right, and who's buying it, right? So being able to position leverage. So for our client, we've done this for YouTube ads, Instagram Reels, Headline, and VSL. Really gave that authority when it comes to his leverage, right? Third thing, we're giving a ton of value in this one. So if you haven't left a like and maybe subscribe as well, just trying to be a YouTuber here, that'd be much appreciated, seriously, because this is pretty in-depth stuff. But acquisition channel, right? So the key is to obviously leverage warm acquisition channels, right? For this client, because of the leverage he was operating under, we decided to completely discard cold prospecting. Now, for some clients, our cold outbound is absolutely fantastic, and we're seeing a ton of results with that. But for this client, based on the current leverage, on the leverage assessment graph, we decided that for sure, inbound and leveraging his inbound clients, his inbound personal brand leads were going to be the most effective and most leverage for this offer. So we decided to go for two things. This was a YouTube ad and IG inbound prospecting. So IG inbound prospecting can be in the forms of followers, comment call to actions, story viewers, or story call to actions. So people who have come into your ecosystem, people who have, given you permission to message them because they are interested in your solution, they're product aware, and most importantly, they're problem aware as well. Going messaging those people, right? For the YouTube ad, we simply ran a YouTube ad to a direct VSL / landing page. So a bit of direct response. And the reason why we're able to do direct response over like, hey, follow me here and go through my stuff is because my client had leverage, right? Whereas most of the people you're seeing on Instagram right now do the whole Instagram ad strategy, they don't have any leverage, right? So they have to ask low barrier to entry requests, right? Such as follow my Instagram or, all this type of stuff. Whereas my client could simply say, hey, if you're interested in this, book a call, right? That's the difference between leverage within business. So on the back end, nurture plus educate your ecosystem with a YouTube backend content. I think that's super important for anybody who wants to scale an online service business. Like if you don't have YouTube content assets, they just don't know you. They don't know you. They don't trust you. And especially in this era where you're seeing everybody push content, like a lot of people say, I'm scared to do content, etc. But they don't realize that everybody is doing content. So if you aren't doing it, then you are just confused, or you should quit, to be honest, right? So we built out the scripts, and we had the follow-ups and we had the data tracking, make sure we're actually collecting the data within his company so we could see what's the percentage rate of the inbound replies on the first follow-up, second follow-up, do we need to tweak the script, do we need to tweak the sales framework? And this is how we were able to collect so much money and actually monetize this audience so quickly, because we were able to see the exact percentages on what was working, what wasn't working, and simply restructure the market approach from there, right? And especially in month 2, it's going to be extra powerful as well. And then coming down to the sales process, so having that VSL, when they opt into the VSL, a 20-step email process which just warms up the prospects, educate the prospects, make them problem aware, dig those pains, dig those fears, because especially a lot of people forget that when people are buying, they're buying in an emotional state, right? They're not buying anywhere from logic, because if they're buying from logic, human beings will do anything to get themselves out of spending $6,000, right? So we have to buy on emotion, and we have to push our prospects into an emotional state. So that's what we do with the 20-step email process, the SMS follow-ups, and the triage callers that we implemented for our client. Booked calls, email automations, pre-sold before the call, and client closed from there. And that is pretty much the entire process on how my client was able to go from zero with his online coaching business and spend $150 in ad spend, which is tiny, right? I know that sounds like a little bit of money for you that don't have too much money to spend, and cash collect $12,000. And now we're really excited to scale further with our client and go from there. But I hope this gave you a ton of clarity and a ton of vision on how you can go about scaling your agency or online coaching business in 2024. If you want to see more of this style of content where I simply break down the back ends of it and everything and be a little bit more authentic on camera, let me know if this is something you're interested in the comments. Other than that, if you are interested in having this system dialed in and optimized for you, done for you, for your business, there's a link below as well. But other than that, you can go on my Instagram, you can pre-sell yourself, and hopefully we'll have a conversation another day. But I love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.